Hello friends, and welcome to a video tour of my Halloween model horse collection. This collection now has 67 models in it, and I thought it would be fun to do a quick tour through them all. I won't talk about each one in detail, but you know what? We'll just see how it goes. So starting off, we're going to start up here with Illuminati and its miniature version. Illuminati was released in 2006 and it was the first Halloween horse made in clearware, the translucent plastic. And that's because Illuminati was also the first Breyer to light up. You can kind of see he's got a button on his belly and he has lights inside that make the pumpkins light up, and he has a bit of a blue glow. Now I'm not going to demonstrate this right now because he's above my head, and I'm afraid if I try this one-handed he'll fall over and that would not be good. And as you can see, Illuminati has a miniature version. Breyer started releasing mini versions of the Halloween models with a pair of sets in 2005 and 2006. So 3 stablemates in 2005, another 3 in 2006, and most of the Halloween horses have their own miniature, but not all, not yet. So moving on, we have Cryptic, and it's mini. Cryptic is one of my favorites, partially because it's on the Big Ben mold, my absolute favorite mold, and also I just love this faux granite gravestone pattern. Cryptic is on display full-time with my Big Ben conga, but of course for Halloween he joins my collection here. Next we have the first Peter Stone horses model in my collection. This is Frank and Chip. He is a very cute little green color with black stitches. Next is Skullduggery, and it's mini. Scully is the very first Halloween horse released in 2001 and definitely a favorite of mine. I have always loved the stealth spooky designs that almost look like a real horse except not, and this Appaloosa pattern fits in really well. Love him. Next we have Nevermore, and it's mini, cute little gothic pair. And then we have Maelstrom with his pirate designs. And then in front, this is not Maelstrom's mini. This is not actually a Halloween horse at all. This is a decorator chase from a blind bag set that was released 5 or 6 years ago, I think. The color is perfect for this collection, and one of my friends thought I needed him, so here he is. Next shelf, we have Samhain, and it's mini in this gorgeous metallic orange. And then I have a pair of pairs here. We have Casper with the ghosts and Jack with the pumpkins. The full set was released first as a pair, and then a few years later we got Mini Jack, followed by Mini Casper the year after that. And I've always been very entertained that the pair of foals was then later miniaturized as a pair of drafts. So from biggest to smallest, although in different scales. Jumping to the back here, we have Tabitha in blue with a witch spooky evening design. Breyer started releasing these classic scale or medium scale models in 2014 and have done one a year ever since. The classic line was rebranded as the Freedom series a few years ago, but I'm afraid classic is what sticks in my brain and what I default to. And then in between them here, of course, is Spectre with those ghosts. Next to them, we have Apparition and its miniature with all those spooky eyes and faces. And you know, I did not put Apparition and Spectre together on purpose, but I do love the combination of their creepy, grinning faces together. Okay, next is Merry Widow in green, and it's miniature. I do love that green color. And behind her we have Goblin there in the back, and Goblin's Mini here in front. Mini Goblin was a new release for this year. And next to them is Twilight Terror, and it's mini. Twilight Terror is another model that lights up, and it is the first and I believe only Breyer model that makes sound. And Twilight Terror is a bit more steady, so let's see if we can turn him on. It's so fun. Okay, down to the next shelf, we have Eek with some spider designs. And then Phantasma and its mini done up in orange. Next to them is one of the customs in my collection. I have 4 customs. This one is, it looks pretty simple with this spindly black tree on white, but to me that is always read as this spooky, foggy forest, and you just know there's lots of spookies in those trees. Next to them we have Bats in the Belfry, and it's mini. And this is another favorite of mine just based on those colors, that sunset gradient into that dusky purple is just gorgeous. And then we have another miniature Bats in the Belfry. This one is a custom on one of my favorite stablemate molds, the Warmblood. Okay, going to the back is Boogeyman, and then its mini is here in front. And between them is Slither, and I really love those snake stripes. And then it's got a cobra on its face. That's just super clever. Okay. Next we have Salem and its mini. Salem is done up with cats and paw prints. And the mini Salem was a new release for this year. Behind them is Nosferatu with a sunset Appaloosa blanket with a bunch of bats. And of course its mini is up front here. And next is another custom and Frankenstein theme. And this guy has actual screws sticking out of his neck. And sticking with the Frankenstein theme, Bride of Frankenstein, this is Thriller with all his dramatic hair. Okay, last shelf. In front we have Draftula with all those bats. That was a new release for this year. And then this is Ratsputin, and it's mini with a bunch of rats in its design. Behind them is Arachnophobia. This is another Stone Horses with that fun spider web on the back. All my Stone Horses Halloween models came from the Moonlight Madness event for varying years. This guy was 2020, I think. Okay, behind them is Poltergeist, and it's mini, a little hard to see down there. And then in front of them, that is a black wolf. That is not actually a Halloween model, but I have always enjoyed the wolf mold, and it fits the theme. Coming back up front, we have Boo, obviously, and a mini version of Boo. These are both Stone Horses, again from Moonlight Madness. And Boo is another favorite just because you can read that from across the room, and I love it. And in front of them, this is another custom, a lovely sunset pattern with sunset colors with all these bats. And it's probably hard to see, but each little bat has a pair of tiny white eyes. Okay. Then let me skip to the back. I've got Calavera. And oh, she's down there. It's miniature version. And then between, this is Ichabod with the skull Appaloosa spots. Next to Ichabod is Crane. same pattern in the classic scale, and then of course we have mini Ichabod here in front. And this design is the only one that Breyer has done in all three scales: stablemate, classic, and traditional. So of course a lot of these have miniatures, but this is the one that they did it in all three scales that they make. Okay, who's next? In the back, let's see. Get around him here. That's Mischief Knight. And Mischief Knight does have a mini down there. Mischief Knight was the very first released in the classic scale in 2014. And then here, getting in my way, is Spirit of Hallowed Eve. He was a special run for one of the Breyer's special collector club events. I believe he was the Velvet Rope event in 2008. Only 75 were made. He's very subtle, and I just love how he looks in different light. And this red guy here is Beowulf. This was the release for this year, the annual Halloween horse. Next to them we have Cornelius and its mini. And I love this ridiculous donkey. It's so simple and yet so utterly perfect. And then we have mini Frankenstein in green. This was also from that same Velvet Rope event. Every attendee received one of these, so there were 200. And then last but not least, we have Frankensteed, this patchwork stitched together look. He has always been one of my top favorites just for this design. It is so cleverly put together, and you can see he's got Skullduggery's skull Appaloosa pattern as one of his patchwork parts. He was from the Lone Star Experience, and I believe 100 were made, and I'm super happy to have him. So there we go. That is all 67 models, and I hope you have enjoyed the tour.